Yo, let's talk about wasting money on transfers that you can't sell.
Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan. What's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop. And right now, you watching the sensei, the number one, the king, my dude, Big Brando. He taught me, personally, me, Fat Man Scoop. All you gotta do is keep your mouth closed and your ears open. Listen to the man talk. That's knowledge personified right there. And I wouldn't trust nobody else but my dude, Big Brando. And I said it. Fat Man Scoop, Big Brando. Let's go!
What's happening, everybody? Boy, Big Brando, and today let's talk about some of my failures and my mistakes I've made when ordering transfers of designs that I cannot sell. Now, most of you guys already know this, but the way that I test out my designs before I order transfers is by using my vinyl cutter. As you can see back here, I got a Cameo back here. That Cameo is only used for research and development for myself. When I say that, I'm talking about any design that I create, I cut it out on vinyl. I'll take some EconoTransfer vinyl, load it into my Cameo, cut it out, press it onto a t-shirt, and then I wear that t-shirt around. When I say I wear that t-shirt around, meaning I wear that t-shirt around potential customers. Not just in general wear it around, but I wear it around where I think my target audience is at. For example, if I was selling a t-shirt that I wanted to market to Disneyland goers, I would wear it to Disneyland. If I was making a t-shirt that was geared towards lowrider owners and lovers, I would wear it to a car show or to Crenshaw or to Broadway or wherever people that are into those cars are meeting up at. Same exact thing goes if I was making t-shirts for guys that ride Harleys. Then I'd wear that t-shirt to the motorcycle swap meet, to the motorcycle runs, stuff like that. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying I'm making a t-shirt, want to test it out, but I want to test it out in front of potential customers. Because it wouldn't make sense if I'm making a t-shirt geared towards guys that own lowriders and love lowriders, and I'm wearing that t-shirt to the local craft fair. There's not going to be that many people that love lowriders at the craft fair versus if I wore the t-shirt made for the lowrider guys to a lowrider event. But not every design that I make is that specific. Sometimes it's just in general, right? Like my West Side t-shirt that I made, the way I tested that out was I made it for my son. My son wore it to a music festival here on the West Side, where almost anybody in that music festival could be a potential customer. There's just a lot of foot traffic. There's a lot of eyeballs there. That's why he wore it there to gather the data for me. That's just how it works. Now, if you're not doing this already, I highly recommend it. The benefit of owning one of these small craft cutters, the Cricuts and the Cameos, one, they're inexpensive. They don't really break the bank like the big Graphtex and the Rolands or a white toner printer or a DTF printer. You have a heat press already. Vinyl cutter is a perfect match for that thing. You can always make money by doing custom shirts, one-off shirts. You could even do small runs of shirts using vinyl. There's a lot of people making a lot of money using vinyl, so it's never a bad option. A lot of people don't like the weeding process. A lot of people feel I'd rather just use transfers instead of going the vinyl route. And there's nothing wrong with that. For myself, everything retail that I do, I use transfers, but I have my vinyl cutter to test out designs. It's all about taking the risk out of losing money, wasting money on stuff that I know can't sell. Right? So a lot of times when we design stuff, we think it's the best idea in the world. And then we use that idea and we get transfers made and we put the t-shirts out. Then you find out the world thinks that's the dumbest design ever and you can't sell any, right? That's the market telling you that's not a good idea. The market will never lie to you. You probably hear me say that a lot, other content creators, Gary Vee, there's all kind of people that talk about the market. When I'm talking about the market, I'm talking about your specific target audience, the people you want to sell your t-shirts to. That's your market. If you have a design that nobody likes, nobody's going to buy it. That's the market telling you that's not a good idea. So before I put anything out into the market, I like to do my research. I like to test out the designs before I waste money on transfers. I want to make sure I put out as many designs that I know will sell to make the sell easier on me and to have a lot less flops. So remember, what I do is come up with the concept, bring the concept to life on the computer. I send that design to the cutter, cut it out on vinyl, press it onto the t-shirt, and then I wear the t-shirt around my target audience. What I'm looking for is people asking me, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Watching people read my shirt, looking at the shirt, laughing at the shirt, tapping their friend or their partner and saying, hey, check out that guy's shirt. Who makes it? Where'd you buy it from? Can I take a picture of it? These are the positive reactions that I'm looking for when I'm wearing the shirt or my son's wearing the shirt. This is just the test shirt. This is the reaction that I want from people because I know it's grabbing their attention. I know they're interested in it, and I know I might be able to sell this thing. That's what I'm looking for. Now, if you took the design, cut it out on vinyl, pressed it on a shirt, you wore it out, and nobody said nothing, nobody looked at it, nobody cared about it, nobody mentions it, you know that that design is not grabbing people's attention. So you wouldn't buy transfers for that design because you know it's not grabbing any attention. Gonna be a hard sell for you. That's basically what it boils down to. Now, I do this just so I don't waste money on transfers, don't waste room on a gang sheet. I just wanna make sure that the stuff I'm putting out is gonna be easy to sell for myself because I'm a cheapskate. I don't wanna waste money on stuff that I can't recoup the money off of. So this is how I minimize the risk. You're not completely eliminating the risk, you're just minimizing the risk because there is still a small risk that you get transfers made and that shirt still doesn't sell. It happens to me. Every design that I make is not a home run. Every single one that I do, I probably have way more flops than I do winners. But the trick is you guys never see the flops because when I test it out and it doesn't work out, then never sees the light of day. Never get transfers made. You'll never see it out on my sites. That's just how it is. The ones that you see are the winners. Those are the ones that I tested out and they worked and that's why they sell. But every single one of my ideas are not great ideas. But I do have to work that idea out just to see. You never know. So for example, last year, exactly a year ago, I vend at this Hawaiian festival every single July. I'm out there. It's a free event. It's one of the biggest Hawaiian festivals in the South Bay or Southern California in general. And it's one of the only free ones out here. A lot of them you gotta pay for, or they have like crazy musical guests where you gotta buy tickets and all that stuff. This one's a free one and it's huge. I've been going to this thing since I was a baby. It's out in Lawndale, California. Happens every July, and this is where I sell t-shirts. I vend here. So leading up to the event, I start testing out a bunch of designs to see what I want to bring to this Hawaiian festival, right? So luckily in May, there's another Hawaiian festival that happens in Santa Fe Springs, which is not too far from here. It's a little bit smaller. There's vendors there, but the foot traffic and the people attending are my target audience, right? These are people attending this Hawaiian festival. It brings out a lot of Polynesians. A lot of the local Hawaiians come out to this thing, Polynesians in general. It's a good time, but that's my target audience for when I'm vending at these Hawaiian festivals, right? So what I do is I test out designs there. I'll wear a t-shirt that I think is gonna be cool and I wear it to the festival that happens in May. I'm not vending at that one. I'm just a regular customer. I'm walking around and I'm just trying to show off the shirt to see if people are like, hey, where'd you get that shirt from? That's all I want. So depending on the reactions I get, then I get transfers made. Then I have the 2 months to create these t-shirts, press them up. Then I can bring them to the festival that I vend at. Bingo, right? That's just how it works. So last year, I do the same exact thing. What I do is I take the two-tone ska man. If you know the two-tone ska man, he's kind of positioned this way. He has a fedora on, he has a suit on, two-tone checkerboard on the bottom. If you're into ska music, you know exactly what I'm talking about. In Hawaii, reggae and ska music is huge. Everybody loves it there. So I said, let me flip the ska man, and instead of his hands being a fist, let me put him in shakas, right? So he's like this. And instead of the checkerboard, two-tone checkerboard on the bottom, I took a Nihomano pattern, a Hawaiian pattern, and I placed that on the bottom. So now you have a two-tone ska man with the shakas up, Hawaiian pattern on the bottom. Easy call, right? I'm thinking this is a fucking winner. Cut it out on vinyl, pressed it on the shirt, wore it to the event in May. Everybody was like, man, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get that from? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh yeah, I got a winner here. Come home, put that thing on a gang sheet. I order 150 of them. Then I take it to my event in July and I sell absolutely none of them there. I probably sold a handful, if that. And remember, I ordered 150 of these transfers and I maybe sold a handful, if that. That design didn't do as good as I had hoped. And I also did all the research, right? I did everything that I usually do. Cut it out on vinyl, got the positive reactions, ordered the transfers, sold absolutely none of them. It just happens. That's part of the game, man. But I just minimized the risk, right? Because it was on a gang sheet and the other designs on that gang sheet I tested the same way and those ones sold. So I didn't completely lose money, but I was all in on this design and that design did not work. Speaking of the design, here it is right here. This is the bottom of the gang sheet and then the gang sheet's taller, right? So I had other designs here, here, and here. This one just kind of was on there and this was the one that I really thought was gonna do good. So see if I could show that. There is the shakas in his hand, two-tone guy. This is just all white, Hawaiian pattern on the bottom here, and it went on black shirts. So look like that. So here's the issue with this. The concept is cool, right? Relatability, super cool. The shakas are kind of small. So from far away, it just looks like the Ska Man, and I just replaced the checkerboard with this Hawaiian pattern on the bottom, the Nihomano on the bottom. That part, cool, relatable. Ska Man, relatable. The shakas really kind of turn this guy up a little bit, but they're so small. And if I had to redo this, and I dissected this design to figure out what was wrong with it, there's a few things I changed. One, I'd bring a little bit more attention to his hands, maybe color them, maybe make them a little bit bigger, make them a little bit more noticeable. This is a black and white design, so what I would do is I would put a red lay, like a flower lay on them. So then that'll be a little bit of a color contrast, and that'll pop. And then also he's wearing shoes. Maybe I'll put him in some slippers, because Hawaii slippers, it just makes sense, right? That right there is a design that I was pretty, like 98% confident I was gonna sell a lot of them. And I didn't sell any. You know, it was a big flop, and it happens not as often, but it does happen to me. The reason being is because I test my stuff out before, right? So if I didn't test stuff out, I put out way more flops, because when I'm designing stuff, I always think that's like the best thing I ever designed, and I kind of get full of myself because I'm like, man, this is gonna be dope. But like I said, when you put it out to the market won't lie to you. The market will tell you yes or no. And this one right here, the market told me this is a big fat no. So if you have a vinyl cutter, I highly, highly recommend to use your vinyl cutter as a research and development tool to test out your designs before you order transfers, because I order my transfers by the hundreds, right? I ordered this one, 150 of these. Granted, it was on a gang sheet, but it was 150 gang sheets of other designs too, but that's still an investment. So try to minimize the risk of wasting money on stuff you can't sell by testing your designs out first. Remember, it's not a foolproof plan, but it does help out to navigate what's gonna make money and what's not gonna make money. In this example, this one didn't make me no money. The other designs on that transfer made a lot of money, which is cool. But this just shows you it's not 100% guaranteed because you test something out, people are gonna buy it. But it is good to test things out to minimize the risk, all right? And if you don't already have a vinyl cutter, I highly suggest looking at these craft cutters, the Crickets and the Cameos. Pretty inexpensive. You don't have to break the bank and get the biggest one. You could get the ones that cut 12 inches of vinyl. That's not a problem. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them in the links in my description. You could buy them, I think, at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. All these places sell Crickets and Cameos now. You buy one of the small ones just to test out designs. And then when you get a good design and it's working for you, get some transfers made. That way you know you possibly can make your money back off of it. You know what I mean? If you got any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments for me. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. And remember, learn from my mistakes, man. Let me make these mistakes for you guys, so that way you guys don't have to waste the same amount of money that I did. All right? Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.